This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 23rd day of June in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. With more than 100,000 persons awaiting the second dose of the Sputnik coronavirus vaccine, the Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, today provided the assurance that a needed second dose of the vaccine will be available before the end of the 12-week timeline between the first and second doses. While persons were told that they would be required to get that second dose 4 weeks after the first, the Ministry of Health has since indicated that the manufacturer of the vaccine has said that a second dose could be taken up to 12 weeks after the first dose. It's been 4 weeks now since Guyana announced a shortage of the second dose of the vaccine, leaving thousands of persons concerned and worried about whether they will get that second dose in time. During his COVID-19 update today, the Minister of Health said the government is working to ensure the second doses are in Guyana as soon as possible, but he could not provide a definitive timeline.
So we still have time. We're working very hard to make sure that we can get those vaccines in, and I am reassured that we will get it before that 12 weeks expire. So people out there can rest assured that they will get their second dose vaccine within that time frame.
Guyana has so far received just over 305,000 total doses of the Sputnik vaccine, with 61,000 of those being second dose vaccines. The country is still awaiting the delivery of more than 183,000 second doses to match the total number of first doses procured. The Sputnik vaccine is administered in two completely different doses. The health minister said while those who have already received their first dose are awaiting their second dose, persons who have not been vaccinated at all should make themselves available to be administered with the first dose.
We have enough first dose right now. That does not stop you from making sure that you come out and get your first dose vaccine. And we'll be able to get you your second dose in time.
And Dr. Anthony also explained today that Guyana made 2 orders for the Sputnik coronavirus vaccine. And while it has received all of the ordered first doses, it is still to receive the majority of second doses.
The first one was for 400,000 doses of Sputnik V vaccine. And of those, that first order that we placed, which was the monies that I went to get from the contingency fund. And when I was asked those questions, I explained then what those monies were for. So that's to take care of 400,000 doses. That would include paying for the 200,000 first dose and paying for 200,000 second dose. We have received the first dose covering the 200,000. And we have received a partial supply of the second dose. We have received to date 61,000 of those second dose. So we have approximately 139,000 second dose remaining from that first order. In addition to that first order, we have also placed an order for 86,000 doses, additional doses, which would make up 43,000 first dose and 43,000 second dose. We have received the 43,000 first dose, and we are now awaiting the 43,000 second dose. So in together, what we have remaining then is 182,000 second dose vaccines.
The Ministry of Health has indicated that there are second doses of the Sinopharm and AstraZeneca vaccines available. Persons who were administered the first dose of one of those 2 vaccines can now return to the health centers for their second dose at the time given. More news coming up in just a moment.
What's our purpose? Together we rise. For our community, our customer, and our country. Our promises: strengthen our community, reliably connect our customers, innovate for all in our country. Together, we rise.
tastes so good to me. Yes, we love Cheesies. Cheesies, Cheesies, give me please. Nobody does it like these. Cheesies, Cheesies, give me some. Cheesies taste is number one. Only Sunshine's got it. Got the cheese you love with a taste that's so real. We love Cheesies. Sunshine Snacks Cheesies. Just so good.
Sonia, you think people easy? People just really want to do their own thing. Look across the road how we building the house low. The building code say you're supposed to be 2 feet off the ground.
And when the place flood, them just be the first to complain.
But you know sometimes we that just contribute to the flooding with we behavior.
You know, boy, we just throw things in the drains and canals. We don't keep the gutters clean and dispose of garbage properly. By the way, you got an emergency kit?
Yeah, Sonia, I got me own and it got drinking water, army medicines, and first aid things like band-aids, iodine, bandages.
And me own got in toothpaste, a change of underwear and clothing, toilet paper and soap.
Guyana, our country, our responsibility.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL.
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
GWI introduces CAP, their customer assistance promotion that offers massive discounts. For a limited time, get 50% off all reconnection fees and another 50% off your entire bill. If your service was removed or you've reconnected on your own, GWI is offering yet another 50% discount off all tampering and replacement fees. Wallet-friendly payment plans are also available. So tap into GWI's customer assistance promotion by visiting any GWI office and avoid them taking legal action. CAP only applies to customers whose services were disconnected or removed prior to 2021. For more information, call 227-8701 or WhatsApp 620-1667. Water is life. Save it.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
Let GBTI make your dreams of owning a home a reality. Buy or build your home with us. Let us help you to completely outfit your home and make it move-in ready. Need to purchase land? We finance that too. Benefit from our 10% down payment and interest rates as low as 4.25%. Calculated on the reducing balance with up to 30 years to repay. Switch your mortgage to us and learn about benefiting from the equity in your home. Invest wisely. Apply online or call your branch to schedule an appointment. GBTI. We see Guyana through your eyes.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Welcome back. Concerned about the number of Haitians and Cubans traveling to Guyana, the government has announced its plan to reinstitute visa requirements for nationals of Haiti and Cuba who wish to visit this country. The announcement was made last evening during a television program hosted by the Attorney General Anil Nandlal. The Attorney General said based on the recent incidents involving Haitian nationals found in Guyana, the PP Civic Administration will begin moves to strengthen its immigration laws by requiring that citizens of Haiti and Cuba get a visa before travel to Guyana.
Guyana will be moving in that direction. We have to take a position against our country being used as an international smuggling transshipment point. We have notified the international agencies that bear responsibility for human trafficking and human smuggling, the United Nations Commission on Human Rights and Interpol and other international agencies. We have already made contact with the American embassy on a different occasion to complain about Cubans as well as the Haitians.
The American Embassy in Guyana is the U.S. visa center for Cuban nationals. That means that all Cubans wishing to travel to the U.S. have to first travel to Guyana to apply for their U.S. visa and be interviewed. The majority of Haitians who travel to Guyana do so legally via Barbados and Panama. They mainly come to Guyana to make their way to Brazil and French Guiana, which both have large Haitian populations. But the government appears convinced that many of the Haitians arriving here are victims of human trafficking. The Attorney General pointed to the recent discovery of a group of Haitian youths staying at the Berbice Hotel after arriving in Guyana from Suriname. They have since been taken into protective custody after they explained that their passports are being held by the person who arranged their trip to Guyana.
The police found a number of very young people. We thought initially that they were children, but they turned out not to be children. They were just over 18 years old. One pregnant. Found 10 of them locked up in a hotel in Skeldon without any travel documents. So they were deposited there and a person gone with their documents. And one of the 10 speak English. These are the classic trappings of a smuggling ring, where you have young women, young men, just teenagers, and people deposit them. They obviously came through the backtrack route. They came from Suriname. They have admitted that much. They came to Guyana illegally, and the person just disappeared with their passports.
Last year, the government attempted to deport 26 Haitian nationals after picking them up at a city hotel. The Haitians flew into Guyana from Barbados and were making their way to Brazil when they were arrested. The government's deportation plan failed after the Supreme Court ruled that the arrest, detention, and deportation order granted by a lower court were all illegal. And digging deeper into that story this evening, I'm being joined by the opposition spokesperson and foreign affairs, Member of Parliament, Atlanta Walton Desir. Good evening, Madam MP. How are you doing?
Hi, Gordon. Good evening. I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing pretty well. Let me get straight to it. Your initial thoughts about the Attorney General's statements that the government intends to move in the direction of reinstituting those visa requirements for Haitians and Cubans. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I noted the statements of the Attorney General, and I am particularly concerned about them. In the context of Haiti, I think this move really is a blow to regional integration. And in the context of Cuba, I think it really disregards the very long and established friendship and relationship Guyana has had with Cuba. You know, there have been hundreds, if not thousands, of Guyanese who have been afforded scholarships, etc., to study in Cuba in the fields of medicine, engineering, and so on. And so I think it is a knee-jerk reaction to a problem that the PPPC does not care to address in the nuanced manner that it deserves to be addressed.
Now, the Attorney General has said that there appears to be a smuggling ring involving Haitians, and this was something that the PP Civic had expressed some concern about even while it was in opposition. So now that they're in government, they're also complaining about it, that there appears to be a smuggling ring. Is that a good enough reason to reinstitute these visa requirements?
Well, again, this brings me back to the point that I was making, that it has to be a studied approach to the issue. You will recall that there was an incident some months ago where 26 persons were held for some days by the PPPC administration. 26 Haitian nationals were held, and then we were told that they were held on suspicion of human trafficking, and they were then dumped in the middle of the night, quite unceremoniously, at a hotel in the city by the government. And so it's difficult to believe the government when it says that it's doing certain things for certain reasons, because you have clear evidence of their prior conduct that suggests to the contrary. When you juxtapose that situation, Gordon, against the fact that we have opened up Guyana to the Venezuelans, recently they have said that we, have over 50,000 Venezuelans here, and they're preparing to welcome more. The question necessarily arises, are they not as susceptible to human trafficking as persons of other nationalities? And so when critically analyzed, you can see the inconsistencies in the position taken by the Attorney General. I think it really is a blow to regional integration, particularly in the context of the Haitian nationals.
But we have seen over the years a number of other CARICOM nations also imposing visa restrictions or visa requirements for citizens of Haiti. So this appears not to be just a Guyana problem. Is it a CARICOM problem? And what would you expect a CARICOM to do about this? How should they address this?
Right. And again, I will come back to the statement I made in the opening about there needing to be a more nuanced approach to the issue. When one considers, for example, the geographical size of CARICOM member states, when one considers their population size in comparison to Guyana's geographical size and its smaller population, one could understand why it might be necessary for those CARICOM countries to impose some level of restrictions. But certainly, I believe that if Guyana can declare that it is open to Venezuelan and Venezuelan migrants, and we see migrants, and we see an influx of persons from India, from the Middle East coming in, setting up the Chinese, etc., then certainly there can be accommodation made for our Haitian brothers and sisters. And so I have a difficulty because the Attorney General's arguments fall at the first hurdle. Because if this human trafficking, etc., is a concern, then it ought to be a concern across the board, I believe.
But what is the opposition prepared to do if the Attorney General and the government goes ahead and move to reinstitute those visa requirements? What is your side prepared to do in and out of the National Assembly to address this?
Well, we will be, of course, taking every legit avenue to addressing this. We have in the past raised this issue of the treatment of Haitian nationals as CARICOM nationals. We would have raised this issue with the CARICOM under the tenure of the previous chairperson of CARICOM. I believe certainly this is a matter that has to be addressed at that level again, because, like I said, it really is a blow to the vision of regional integration.
Well, thanks a lot, Madam MP. Amanzo Walton-Desir, a member of parliament for the opposition AEP and AFC, and she is the opposition spokesperson on foreign affairs matters. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me, Gordon. Thank you so much.
In other news tonight, popular channel vendor Robert Bazette, also known as Brick, who plied his trade for several years in the Stabroek Market area, was stabbed to death yesterday in the same area. Another Stabroek Market vendor has been arrested for the murder. A police report of the incident said it was around 4:30 yesterday afternoon that the two vendors got into an argument over the area where Bazette was setting up his stand to begin sales. Persons in the area said during the argument, Bazette pulled out an ice pick and threatened the other vendor. The other vendor pulled out a knife out of his own pockets as he pushed Bazette away from him. Eyewitnesses said Bazette later armed himself with an axe as the argument intensified, and he started the chase behind the other vendor, who remained armed with a knife. The suspect eventually fell to the ground after being chased by the channel vendor, and it was while the channel vendor, Robert Bazette, was walking away from the scene that the suspect got up and stabbed him repeatedly to the back and sides to his body. The injured man managed to run across to the nearby police outpost at a market where he collapsed. He was rushed to the Georgetown Hospital where he died while receiving emergency care. The suspect was later arrested in the Camp Street area. A full investigation is being conducted into the Market Square murder tonight. Police investigators have launched a probe into the death of a 36-year-old truck driver who drove overboard at a John Finance wharf here in the city. The dead man has been identified as Sheldon Wilson of Mahaica, East Coast of Marara. Surveillance video recordings of the incident captured the truck being driven slowly towards the edge of the wharf before its cabin eventually went off the edge, crashing into the river. Fast-thinking workers at the wharf rushed to the driver's aid and took a while before they were able to pull him from the wreckage. Sources familiar with the investigations have told News Source that it is suspected that the driver either suffered a seizure or possible heart attack before he drove over the edge to his death. A post-mortem examination has been ordered as part of the investigations. 1 week after a burned Cessna aircraft was discovered along the Bisaruni Trail near Kokwani, investigators have hit a brick wall in their search for the persons who flew the plane into Guyana. Authorities believe the aircraft was smuggling cocaine into the country. The suspected cargo and its traffickers have vanished without a trace. Kanu officials have confirmed to News Source that a small plane carried a Brazilian registration. On the same day that the plane was found in Guyana, another aircraft which was spotted flying over Guyana but later made its way to Suriname was busted in the neighboring country with a large quantity of cocaine. That plane also carried a Brazilian registration. A few weeks ago, another Brazilian registered aircraft was busted with cocaine after its pilots were forced to make an emergency landing in Oriala, Berbice. The two Brazilian men have since been charged and remanded to jail on drug trafficking charges. The Ministry of Health today announced that the country has recorded 125 new cases of coronavirus in the past 24 hours. The latest report takes the number of new cases recorded since the start of June to 2,407. 2 additional deaths were also recorded in the past 24 hours, and that takes the number of deaths recorded so far for this month to 56. As the Health Ministry continues to focus on its national vaccination program, it appears as though less attention is being given to the enforcement of preventative measures. There is now growing concern about the communities in Region 9, which borders Brazil, so after they are seeing a steep rise in new cases there. According to the Ministry of Health, Region 9 currently has more than 350 active cases. While the official border crossing between Guyana and Brazil has been officially closed for months, citizens from both sides have been making their way across the neighboring communities. Some villages in the Rupununi region have now instituted additional COVID-19 curfew measures of their own to stem the spread of the virus. Region 4 continues to be the region with the most active COVID-19 cases and recorded deaths. Several wards in the city and along the east bank of the Marara and the east coast have been declared COVID hotspot areas.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
At Sosh Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing. Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sosh Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
What's our purpose? Together we rise. For our community, our customer, and our country. Our promises: strengthen our community, reliably connect our customers, innovate for all in our country. Together we rise.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Hi, I'm Nias Suban, and I took my vaccine, my COVID-19 vaccine, and I want to encourage everyone who are looking at me right now or listening to me on radio to be able to take your vaccine as well. It is very important that we do that, simply because this is something that is spread by humans to humans, and if it is our action that can only help to stop the spread of this pandemic. So I want to encourage all of you. I spent 50 days in the COVID IC unit, and I documented my story. Many people know what I went through. I saw what others went through, and because I saw and because I know, I want to encourage all of you to take your vaccine. Our collective action can help to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Across the region tonight, Trinidad and Tobago will finance the retrenchment of 25% of the staff at Caribbean Airlines at an estimated cost of 110 million Trinidad and Tobago dollars. This was revealed by the Finance Minister of Trinidad, Com Imbert, in the Senate yesterday, after he was asked by the opposition Senator Wade Mark about the severance packages for the 450 employees being retrenched. On Monday, Caribbean Airlines announced that it has suffered over 172 million Trinidad and Tobago dollars in losses for the first quarter of this year. And in an effort to ensure a sustainable business model going forward, it will be retrenching up to 450 employees and also cutting its fleet and routes. Yesterday, the finance minister in Trinidad said the airline was at the beginning of the consultation process for staff reduction and is currently finalizing the exact number of personnel to be sent home. In Latin America, Argentina and Mexico have recalled their ambassadors to Nicaragua, following the latest in a series of high-profile political arrests. A joint statement said the envoys would return to their capitals for talks about the Nicaraguan government's worrying actions recently. It came after another potential presidential candidate was detained in Nicaragua. Journalist Miguel Mora was held under Nicaragua's controversial treason law. He is the fifth presidential candidate to be arrested in the past 3 weeks. The wave of detentions comes 5 months before elections, in which President Daniel Ortega is expected to run for a fourth consecutive term. Recent actions taken by Nicaragua's government have put the integrity and freedom of various opposition figures, activists, and Nicaraguan businessmen at risk, Argentina and Mexico said in their joint statement. And finally tonight, international news. More than 20 Russian aircraft and 2 Coast Guard ships have shadowed a British warship sailing near Crimea. Moscow's defense ministry said a patrol ship fired warning shots and a jet dropped bombs in the path of the HMS Defender as it sailed some 12 miles off Crimea's coast. The UK government rejected Russia's account of the incident and denied that any warning shots had been fired. A BBC correspondent on the warship said it was harassed by Russia's military. Aircraft could be heard overhead as the BBC defense correspondent Jonathan Beale filed a report from the deck of the HMS Defender in the Black Sea as it sailed to Georgia. He described hostile warnings over the radio as the warship's crew prepared for a possible confrontation. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, thanking you for joining us and encouraging you to stay safe.